business pain points. My name is Christina Kohler-Coluccia, and I'm the head of business advisory at Woodburn Accountants and Advisors. In today's episode, we are going to be looking at the Chinese preference for smartphone communication that actually leaves email out. Now, most Western entities tend to use email as their main form of communication. However, with the constant evolution of technology and changing habits of users are forcing companies to resort to new ways of sharing messages. Particularly in China, the email culture is really not popular. Research, and I'm just going to read off a couple of numbers, research has indicated that 80% of emails go unopened. And when they are opened, so for that remaining 20%, the average response time is around 90 minutes. In contrast, 98% of text messages are opened by recipients and yield an impressive response time of 90 seconds. Engagement through email seems to be on the way out, with filled inboxes and increasingly sophisticated filter settings making it harder than ever to grab the attention of the readers. In China, email rates are relatively stagnant due to various issues with service providers, firewalls, and security. While Western countries witnessed a slow rise of technology, from the first computers which filled rooms to chunky desktop monitors to laptops and then smartphones, most Chinese people went from having no technology in their home to having a smartphone in their pocket. In the US and other parts of the world, as the web was just emerging into mainstream use in the late 90s, PCs were relatively abundant. In 1999, there were 50.5 computers for every 100 people. And this is according to World Bank stats. Most first-time internet users were working adults or college students about to join the market. Email became a primary mode of communication in the office. And as desktop PCs began to move from the office to households and schools, parents and teachers taught younger people how to use the internet. In China, however, there were only 1.2 computers per 100 people. Outside of China's major cities, most households did not own a computer, much less one connected to the internet. In crowded dorms, there wasn't much space for students to cram in a desktop PC, and China's white-collar population is and was far smaller proportionally than that of the US. The country was a relatively late adopter of computers, and when internet cafes opened, young people started to use social messaging programs like QQ, which was created by Tencent, to communicate with one another. Unlike standard emailing, QQ provided entertainment, interaction with features such as the instant messaging. Smartphones replaced computers as the main computing device in China. Data from state-banked think tank China Internet Network Information Center, the CNNIC, shows that the rise in China's internet penetration correlates almost perfectly with mobile phone adoption, and the most connectivity originates on the phone. When WeChat was released in 2011, it soon became an integral part of daily life. The multi-functioning instant messaging mobile app replaced the use of emails, and just like in the West, where your email address is part of your identity, WeChat is now part of your identity in China. Foreign companies that are operating in China are rethinking their communication strategies, particularly for B2B products and services that might not have the luxury of a budget that can provide for a multi-channel strategy. This situation also affects a company's internal communication. Now, experts argue that email is simply less compatible with Chinese culture than chat, particularly in the workplace. I was reading an article by I was reading a tech blog, and they were interviewing Thomas Lowe, who's the founder of PingWest. And he says that emails don't merge easily with China's business culture, which tends to be informal and fast-paced. These qualities, he's arguing, are better suited to the chat software. In China, a lot of people use WeChat for all of their messaging needs, including for business. Private traffic is basically what Chinese brands came up with as an email-free equivalent of email marketing, and it seems to be an even better engagement tool. WeChat has been adopted into the Chinese working culture and resonates with consumer behaviors. It has become the leading mobile platform in China, which integrates social, commerce, service, and communication. This does not mean Chinese people don't use email. People just check it far less frequently than their Western counterparts. Consumers in China do not use or check emails regularly either, and this is the main reason why email marketing is less effective. They prefer their favorite brands contact them via text, via WeChat, social pages, and other social media platforms. But obviously, despite WeChat's popularity, different marketing channels serve different purposes. If you want to send a massive and generic message to your audience, then WeChat is the best option. However, if you want to personalize your content, then WeChat may not be the right platform. In this case, maybe email could be a better option. WeChat and other social media apps in China cannot send specified targeted messages to users depending on their shopping preferences, size, and taste. Now, in general, Chinese buyers prefer to receive messages from brands through WeChat because they don't want to shift across platforms. China's booming digital ecosystem of social media apps provides an array of options for companies to build an effective and coherent marketing strategy in China. Social media is not an option, but a vital source for companies to be successful in entering the market by leveraging those platforms. Though email is the preferred method for corporations in the West, any foreign company intending to operate successfully in China must keep in mind the communication habits of the Chinese. Now, obviously, there are going to be downsides to using platforms like WeChat. One is that WeChat is set up by the user themselves, not by the company. You're not setting up individual profiles for each of your employees. They're using their own personal user information to open WeChat. This leads on to data protection. This leads on to how you're spreading proposals, contracts, and other such documents that could be considered confidential. If you decide one day to fire an employee on WeChat, they've got all of this content archived. So you have to, as you are moving and changing your communication methodologies in China, you still have to think about data protection and how you are protecting your company in the long run. I hope this video has helped you. I hope you enjoyed the stats. I found it absolutely fascinating. If you've got any queries, comments, questions, struggles that you are experiencing in the Chinese market, we are providing you a link to our diary. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. We would be happy to schedule a 15-minute free complimentary call to see if we can be of assistance and help you. If you would like to learn more about what we do at Woodburn Accountants and Advisors, head on over to our website, woodburnglobal.com. It has a whole bunch of resources as well as our full service listing. And last but not least, please do share, like our episode. Our mission is to help as many struggling leaders, entrepreneurs, managers in China overcome their obstacles and succeed. We look forward to seeing you at the next episode. Take care and goodbye.